guys, how's it going? Today we want to walk around the garden and give you some updates. We're here like mid to late June. I actually just filmed a container tour this morning because we were given the gift of an overcast day. It is kind of blustery though, so I'm hoping the wind stays like relatively slow for a little while. Anyway, it's just nice when the sun's not glaring off of everything. It kind of washes colors out and such. So anyway, we wanted to start right here by the chicken coop and give you a look at how things are filling in. I really like this area this year. I think it's really pretty. At this point of the season, I'm happy I didn't remove the daylilies. I threatened to do it every single year, but they look so pretty during their first flush of blooms. Those are the variety called Going Bananas. And then we've just got a jumble of really pretty things in here. Lemon Coral Sedum is a winner. It's a winner everywhere we've put it this year. And it's something that I think I want to order more of next year because it makes for such a tidy border. You know, and I like the look of Super Petunias kind of spilling over into the gravel and such as well, but sometimes I want that clean kind of line, and I know Aaron loves that. Loves that a lot. The interesting thing about the lemon coral this year, not so much here, but in other spots, is that it is blooming. And it's a pretty little bloom. It's like this little spray of yellow flowers. But I don't know that it's necessarily supposed to do that as quickly as it has this year. And maybe it's just our weather. I mean, yesterday's high, you guys, was 95 degrees. Today's high is 72. What's tomorrow's high? 68?
Yeah.
So it's so erratic and so weird. But last year I came in and pulled out some peach colored landscape roses that they kept getting afflicted with spider mites, and it was just, they were becoming a little bit too much of a nuisance. And I put in the Invincible Ruby hydrangeas, and I think they're gorgeous. We have a Miss Violet Buddleia in there blooming. The dahlia, this is the Vibrant Violet dahlia, which is my favorite of the Virtuoso series. Talked about that in our container tour this year. In fact, during this tour, I probably won't major on any of the containers since we went over that here recently. Let's head to the pond. Well, before we head to the pond though, there is this brand new flower bed, which we've been really enjoying. I just love seeing stuff in here. I love seeing some green and some height. The trees have been a little bit beat up by the wind. We've had some pretty severe windstorms come through, but overall everything's looking really great. The thing that has really kind of changed since I planted in here, because everything else, like I can tell the Super Petunias have thickened up a little bit, but look at the hydrangeas. When we put these in, they were largely just green. There were some buds, and I think I had one plant that maybe had a couple blooms on it, but they all have blooms on them now, and they're absolutely beautiful. So if you imagine like this look, but this tall in front of this whole, or I guess in back of this whole flower bed, they're just gonna provide such a beautiful, unified, peaceful, lush looking border back here. Hedge, I guess.
And we'll fix the bricks.
What's that?
We'll fix the bricks.
Oh, does it look egregious from your view?
It's not egregious, but they're definitely not, straight.
Well, when we made this flower bed, I just had such a hard time visualizing how far out I should put everything. I didn't want to neck down the lane because this is driveway right here. And so putting the bricks down, even just loose like I did, just was very helpful. It made it to where I was able to measure the distance for the boxwoods, which these are some of the new varieties from Proven Winners coming out next year from the new gen line. These are called, I think these are the Independence, and then I've got two of the Freedoms, which get a little bit bigger on the back end. But
wasn't there a Liberty in there too?
There's a Liberty Bell, but I don't have any of those yet.
Okay.
But I would love to try them. Proven Winners. I would love to try that variety, but these are just, they're so beautiful. And I want to say that they have put on some new growth since we planted them. They look like it to me. They're just a really thick leaf, real waxy, shiny, and beautiful. All right. The pond is looking a little bit better, you guys, since we added the tilapia, and we've been pretty diligent. Like Paul is especially diligent about going through and removing string algae. The kids have also been playing in it about every day. Yesterday they were in it twice, and that helps tremendously. I don't know what it does, but it just stirs it up.
Okay, so check this out. They jump off of these rocks and they land right in the middle here. And so right where they land, it's all clean, and then there's algae everywhere else. So I've been telling the kids, move around a little bit.
Like play right here.
Yeah, play right there.
But the problem is the rocks get a little bit bigger and a little bit more slippery. And in those areas they avoid. They like this area where the rocks kind of like compact together a little bit. It's more of a firm footing. But I mean, the rocks look pretty good. The waterfall rocks.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Before they were like covered in green string algae. Now it was actually my plan today to get in the pond and do some pond maintenance, plant maintenance. I need to deadhead the iris and just go through and clean stuff up, and I will do that. We'll do that together here once it warms a little bit back up. I want to do that on a day when it actually feels good to be in the water. But I was just telling Aaron last night, this is a new variety, and I can't remember the name of it, of campanula, and it's awesome. This one I planted last year, and it is just, there's a weed in this one. It is just gorgeous. Is it like white clips or?
Do they stay about that size or do they get bigger?
They'll spread out a little bit, but they're not like an aggressive ground cover or anything. They're just more of this little dainty, sort of really color-packed plant. And there's tons of buds still. I mean, just loads of buds in this plant. There's a purple version too, and I can't remember where I planted those. But if they perform like these, then that'll be awesome. Okay, the hardy water lilies are just doing great. Look at this. I do, like this is another one I want to get in and, you know, groom off the yellow and tattered leaves, but I love the colors of these flowers. That's like a sunset. And then that beautiful, like creamy lemon color is so beautiful. You can see some fish in there. Oh, here, oh, that one just jumped. Before we get too far, I do want to pop out and show you the front of this berm, because the coreopsis in particular have come into their own. These were some of the plants we put in when the Dream Stream team was still here, and they were just little itty bitty things. And we put in the Rock and Blue Suede Shoes salvia as kind of a, oh, here it is. See, I knew it was somewhere.
Yeah.
Those are a little bit more small, but they're full of buds. So we'll see, but that's a pretty color, isn't it? Well, anyway, the coreopsis is such a sunny, happy looking thing. Kind of want more of those. Can't remember the name of them. I probably said what it is in the tour of the plants when we were done. But I mean, just look at this whole area. It's just filling in so beautifully. We did have the little faucet. There was a hose faucet here and like a pipe for a hose link. We had that removed and buried. So now I just need to do something with this.
We paint that maybe? Paint it
Yeah,
black?
I don't really want to paint a lot of ours, but I think this is a good contender because I don't really want to cover it with mulch.
Well, we need to get in it and clean out the filters from time to time. So you don't want to bury it.
Yeah. Other ones in our flower bed seem to be a little bit more tucked away for the most part, but this one's kind of like, you know, real visible. And I don't want to, I mean, these will grow over it a little bit, but I don't want to cover it completely for that reason, so we can get in and access what's in there. And then the front of the other side here is just filling in beautifully. The Virginia Star Creeper is such an amazing ground cover. I planted it last spring, I think, and I cut the root balls. They were 4-inch plants. I cut them, I think, in half. And they did real well, and then they just disappeared. And I thought, well, dang it, they died. Shoot. And then they just like reappeared this spring, but it was late when they reappeared, and now they're in bloom and looking beautiful.
Now, why is this Russian sage not blooming?
It is.
To the right.
Oh,
My right.
I don't know.
The other ones look great, but that one is just green. Is it maybe too much water?
I don't know. I mean, the leaf color looks the same. That one's full of buds.
Huh.
Do you think that one gets more shade?
Well, I wonder if it gets too much water because we ran a couple extra emitters to the birches, because birches tend to like a decent amount of water.
I would think that the foliage would show that.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So
It'd be more yellow.
I'm thinking maybe the birch trees shade it this in the morning a little bit longer, and then this like shades it a little bit more in the afternoon, so it's sandwiched in a little bit more. I don't know.
Seems like it would get full sun either way.
You know, from this angle, these do look a little bit more pale.
Huh.
I wonder if it is a water issue.
It's interesting.
Yeah. We've got the Aromance Mulberry Nemesia right here, or Nemesia. Really fragrant, really beautiful. Looks pretty with that Superbena. More Rock and Blue Suede Shoes, salvia throughout this whole area, and then the occasional sweet potato vine. I think I only got I only got 5 of the Sweetheart Limes this year. I don't know what was up with that, but they were in with another variety. This is my favorite one, though. We planted this Catalpa this spring. Look at this. This adds to the fragrance in the area, big time. Look at the blooms here. So pretty. Look at that. We just have these everywhere now because they're an amazing plant. Okay, let's pop back in here and take a look at the rest of the pond. Yeah, well, this is looking pretty stunning, and so is this Russian sage. There's another one of the campanula, a darker colored one. Huh. We've got plumbago in here. We've got a bunch of things. The plumbago has really started to spread, which I love. This one bloomed. It has already bloomed. No, it's getting ready to bloom. It's got buds all over on it. And so it blooms really pretty. Oh, blue blooms right there. And then the foliage turns bright fire red in the fall. They are really an amazing ground cover. And then we're trying out some other stuff. This is Beaujolais loosestrife. We've got a cotoneaster called Little Dipper. It's doing exactly what I want it to do, so is this one. So I planted the root ball right here, hoping that it would grow over these stones and sort of soften them. So you see like little peaks of the stone instead of the whole thing. And that's my goal for this whole area eventually. The black hawk grasses are looking great. Everything really has just filled in, just hugely, minus my sempervivum planter. That is my personal shame for the day. I need to redo that planter. Look at the lilies in here though. Look at them. They are so gorgeous. They think I'm gonna give them food probably. Yeah. Woo! Oh, that's a tilapia. You see that one? That one was going for it. I didn't know the tilapia would get friendly like the koi. I think they're getting smart now. They know I don't have food. I love the way it's looking up above here. It really, things have matured and really have filled in, like the Grollo sumac right there that's hugged the rock and it's kind of grown underneath it. Isn't that amazing? And then the Jacqueline Hillier elm right up there. My parents have one of those in their garden and it is absolutely fantastic. I probably need to get in there though and do some selective pruning because I want to have exposed trunks on the bottom and have it be like a multi-trunked small tree in the end. But we've got Joe Pye weed coming up. Of course, all the Russian sage looks great everywhere. Hardy geraniums in here. Oh boy. We've got a dry rudbeckia. Ooh, and maybe a dry dogwood, possibly.
I wonder if it's just the wind.
Well, now that's not just the wind because you've got other ones right next to it. I think we might have a drip issue right here. Have to take care of that later. Right in here, we've got the chamomile that we started from seed last spring and planted it out here, and I love it. I almost think it would be beautiful just to like mass the chamomile along here. Miss Violet Buddleia. And we've worked on planting a few things out here. We've got the Cupid's dart and then some of the foxglove that we started from seed in here. See, this one looks like it's a little dry too. And then we planted a few chaste trees last year, and this spring I thought that they had died. It's kind of like the Catalpa thing. When we very first had planted the El Nino Catalpas, I didn't realize that it just takes them forever to come out of dormancy. Either that or they come out of dormancy at the very base of the plant and you cut them down and then it keeps them smaller in colder climates. So that may be what this chaste tree is going to do. I think this is the blue diddley chaste tree and it's just full of buds. So this will be a really pretty blue colored bloom when they do come out and bloom. I think I would like to, before we head over here, I want to head back to the high tunnels and take a look in that area. We just got a load of plants in yesterday. There's a lot going on back there. You know, on the way back to the high tunnels, there's quite a lot of other things to look at. I do want to talk about this project that we have upcoming back here that we've brought you along for up to this point, but we have planted some really nice things in this area. We planted up this new little, perennial sort of area, and there's a few annuals in there. We've got some pulmonaria planted at the base of this spruce. We planted some oak leaf hydrangeas in here. It's just a really pretty view, I think, through this area.
You should talk about what we want to do with the little seating area back here.
Yeah, and I may have mentioned it in a video before when I was planting the hydrangeas, but I think we're going to take out like up to this rock and carve this whole section out, probably back into here, and have like a little stack stone wall built right in here, and then have a little seating area. Because we found that this area, because it's directly under the canopy of this tree, stays shaded for quite a lot of the day. It's a really pleasant place to sit, and the kids love to play right here, especially it's the most shallow part of the pond, which is great. But we kind of wanted 2 seating areas anyway. We had intended on putting just a bench right here, but that's not going to do. It needs to be big enough to where we've got comfortable furniture in here where it makes you want to sit for a while. And that way we can enjoy this half of the pond / dream stream, and then we've got the other seating area for the other side.
It's a really pretty view sitting here because you get to see the Hartley.
Yeah, it really is.
And the sound of the water.
And I think I'd only need to move 2 plants. I think I'll need to move the Montana moss and this viburnum right here. Which honestly, this viburnum would probably be happy to be moved out from all the shade right here. So, one of these days. First, we have to tackle this project, which, Aaron, it's gonna start, what, the 30th? Mm-hmm. So right at the end of this month, we are going to start in with this project. So we'll be continuing on with the walkways, which we already did a video walking you through the whole, how we're gonna form up everything, where the lawn will be, where flower beds will be, and all of that. So I'm very much so looking forward to that being done, and all of this, you know, just stuff being picked up and covering over the powder dirt with things. I have enjoyed having these trees. I don't know if that Leyland cypress is gonna survive.
Yeah, we've had them look like that before though.
We have. This one's looking pretty sketch though. It's soft, it looks super brown, but it's soft still. Didn't the root ball crack on this one?
Oh yeah, both of these actually. The cedar as well back there.
The cedar doesn't look like it minded it though.
No.
This one's just a little, we'll see. But yeah, the addition of all of the locust trees back here has just been kind of a game changer to this area. You know, we'll have flower bed here that'll wrap around, but then the grass will extend and it'll come around and go around the trampoline there. So it'll be a really nice mixture, I think, of lawn space and yeah. You know, I've been reading up on fire resistant plants and lawn is recommended. That's like
I'm sure it is.
That's a barrier. Well, I'm like looking for any extra reasons we could add to our list of why we like lawn.
Oh.
That's fire resistant. So here's our latest load of plants that just arrived yesterday. We actually just put in an order through Walla Walla Nursery, who's one of the suppliers my parents orders from. In fact, they got a few things in on that load too that we took down to them. But we just wanted some more things that we could work into berm areas, big empty flower beds. And we've got some beautiful things here I thought you guys might be interested to see. We've got a bunch of really gorgeous iris. I love the texture of iris. This is like what kind? Butter and sugar. I've got some of these out, but these are Siberian iris. So they don't tend to brown. The foliage doesn't brown like a bearded irises does. And it just is such a beautiful texture. I've got perennial geraniums, veronica, Russian sage. We've got some hibiscus, some big pink ones.
I ordered those.
This was, yeah, Aaron's edition. You also ordered these, which surprised me because I've tried this variety twice already. And every time it hasn't come back for me. So I'm gonna try it again.
What is it?
This is the Royal Raspberry Agastaki. It's a beautiful plant and I like the foliage, just the foliage. I mean, the blooms are pretty too, but yeah, we'll see.
You know
of
what the problem was though?
What?
So you gave me what plants you wanted.
Yeah.
And then when I placed the order, they had photos of all the blooms for each thing. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what, it makes it hard when you're going through, like, I want this one and this one and this one and this one.
So funny because I don't order with blooms. I order by botanical name. So I go through just the word list. I'm like, this, I want this, 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 this. I don't even look at the pictures.
Well, Walla Walla has their website is pretty good. You just hover over the plant and it just pops up a picture of that plant on the screen.
Oh, nice.
Which makes it way easier for ordering because I've ordered from other companies before too. And this is not sponsored by Walla Walla. They just are like a random grower in our area.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fine. You know, I'm not... I don't know what to say. They're fine, but I'm not like trying to promote them. I'm just saying it was easy to order because other growers, oftentimes it's just a sheet of paper and yeah, it's botanical names and you don't even know what the plant looks like unless you happen to be a plant person.
Right, and you have to Google, I've been there too. You have to Google every single thing and it takes forever to see what they are.
Which growers like that don't sell to just the public. You have to be another grower, like a
nursery
or something like that.
Garden center. But these are firelight hydrangeas, so we're kind of leaning in on the paniculatas. Some of these are looking kind of wilted. Bethany came out here this morning and we had so much wind last night. She said a lot of it was tipped over and dry, and she watered everything yesterday, and then I watered everything again last night because I knew all of the wind was coming, and it still dries everything out. These are Quickfire Fabs, which has been one of my favorite varieties of paniculata. These look like they're a little on the yellow side, so we'll see. That's kind of a weird. Firelights look a lot darker green. This is a Celtic Pride Siberian cypress. I planted one of these at the church that Erin and I go to, and it's the only time I've ever planted one. And I thought, well, we'll see what happens. And it looks so beautiful. It's kind of a ground cover evergreen, but they're really soft and they're a really nice color of green. So I thought we could tuck some in somewhere. We got some space for that. We've got tater tot arborvitaes, black lace elderberry, perennial geranium here, and then this right here, most of it is part of the spring meadow load that came in, except for we've got the firefly fuchsia yarrow that came in yesterday. Yeah, you can see where it's like recovering from being dry and blown over.
I like this one a lot though.
I do too.
I like the color of it.
It's such a happy, it's kind of like the firefly yellow that I just planted. It's such a happy firefly sunshine. Very happy, bright colors. And then also we were able to get in lavender to replace a few, actually quite a number of lavender that did not make it in our formal flower garden. And then to hopefully finish up all the spots that I wasn't able to plant in. So these are quite a bit bigger than the plugs that we put in, and they're blooming. So it'll look a little spotty out there, but oh, they're so wonderful. So, so pretty. And the rest of the high tunnels here are just full of what we had from earlier this spring. A few things from our annual load still yet to plant, and then a few things that we wintered over from last year. But they have cleared out quite a lot. Like before there was no room anywhere, and now we've got holes and room, and we've also kind of cleaned up this area. We had a ton of stuff out here just in rows, and we've been able to clean up and move a lot of it in and or get it out into the garden. So thought you guys might like to see back here. Not a lot of new stuff has gone on in terms of planting except for the big trees back here. So let's head to the parterre. So starting right here in the back of the chicken coop flower bed, we planted some rock and deep purple salvia, some stratosphere, no, I think this is pink, either pink picotee or stratosphere white. I think it's stratosphere white, Gara, lemon coral sedum. It's just a really bright, fresh blend. Starting about here, I need to retool this whole thing. I need to, I'm gonna get rid of the Baptisia back here. It struggles with iron deficiency every year here.
Which I've actually put a lot of iron on it.
I don't know, I just feel like I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done with this plant right here.
This tree was struggling a little bit too. There was more yellow in it before. It's doing a little better now.
It looks a lot better.
We were hitting the whole area pretty hard with the chelated iron.
Which surprises me because you can see too on our crabapple, which I'm going to leave the crabapple, but I'm going to get rid of the Baptisia and I'm going to relocate the lamb's ear. That'll probably be a project this fall because I love lamb's ear and I want to keep it. But you can see like the new growth on the crabapple, like this spot right here, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Like it's extra high pH right here. But the rest of the tree looks really good, while it usually looks more yellow. So I think whatever you're doing is working. It just needs maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, stay on it.
Yeah, the parterre looks really good, I think. I really have been enjoying this kind of shift in color palette. It's very different for me using a red like this, but it's the Virtuoso Classy Carmine Dahlia and the Unplugged So Blue Salvia. And we need to weed it. I mean, there's a lot of areas I could get in here. Look at this. This purslane, it's just everywhere. It almost kind of, I don't know, kind of blends in a little bit, thankfully. But I've really enjoyed it. It's not like I would probably do red in here every year, but I feel like it's kind of opened my eyes up to, I don't, looking for that specific color of red. It's not a really hot red. It's got a little bit more of a cool tone to it, especially when the flowers first open. And so I don't know, it's just a really fun, different thing.
The Sweet Romance lavender is looking good.
It really is. I love this whole area. I remember feeling a little bit like, oh, is this the right thing to put back here? And I absolutely think it is. I love the way this whole thing turned out. And it'll be fun once this is a little bit more of a hedge. Oh, are you sneaking on me?
Yeah, I was.
What are you doing? What you doing, babe? All the containers back here have been really fun this year as well. We've got some really neat ones. Well, I talked about this in the container tour, all of these. So we'll gloss past them, but I've really been enjoying them quite a lot. Julia Child rose trees that we planted early this spring have really done well. I need to deadhead them at this point, but they have really kind of like balanced the area. When you stand back far enough, you can see these and then the pair on the other side, and I really like that. And I love, these are the Freedom variety of New Gen boxwood, and I love them along this path. And the goal is to have them be large spheres in the end. They grow like 3 by 3, so they'll probably at maturity, like if I don't ever shear them, they'd probably be like halfway along the brick, which is perfect. So we can kind of keep them in a really like beautiful spherical shape. And I'm almost thinking we repeat this look along this pathway. So incredible sunflowers, looking great. Ooh, also look at the view to the golden rain tree. Isn't that beautiful? It's the messiest tree you could ever plant in your garden, and it was here when we moved here, but I wouldn't trade it for anything else. I think it's just so spectacular. Now, I think that we're actually a little bit happy that this spot has taken a while, because we were just talking about this morning, we need to pick up the stones here. This project will happen after the backside of the dream stream. We need to eliminate that walkway, and it needs to be right here, because we've had people over too, where people come through here, walk through the grass. This is where they want to walk. They want to walk right here to the Hartley. Nobody ever goes and uses the stones over there. And so using a space for a little while before you commit to hardscape, it's kind of a good idea sometimes when you're not sure what the flow is going to be like. So I think we'll have a smaller walkway here. We'll eliminate that. And then we will probably have one right in here still that leads you to the fireplace. And if we repeated the boxwoods along here, I think that would be a really nice look. And then we back it with really abundant, more cottagey looking things. I also think we have room for another tree, like right in here, and then one on the other side. Maybe not the same tree, but just something for a bit more vertical interest. We need to replace this evergreen. I planted this evergreen this year, and I loved it, but I think it's pretty much dead. Paul ran drip to it immediately after I planted it. There is a little bit of life, and you can see there's a hose running to it. Bethany's been slow, like giving it a slow trickle of water. It's a zone 7 anyway, so maybe it saved me the heartbreak of like limping it along for a couple of years and then having a winter take it out. I don't know. And it's possible too, if we left it, it could bounce from whatever, afflicted it. Sometimes plants just shock and there's not a really good explanation as to why they do what they are doing. Before we head over this way, let's look at the brick patio. First of all, what's going on over here? What are you doing with your veil? Isn't that a skirt?
It is.
It is? Well, looking good, girl. Looking good. So I went into more detail on all of the containers in this area, but I at least wanted to show it in the tour in case you didn't catch that video. Everything looks really pretty in here. I've just been enjoying this so much. We do want to add some more furniture. We've been kind of looking. I would love to add this collection of furniture, but they're so expensive and I waited for so long to buy this. I waited for a sale and then anyway. I would love to add 4 more chairs from this collection. It's from Front Gate, but I just can't pull the trigger. But I'd love to do like a grouping of chairs here and then a grouping of chairs right over there to kind of fill in the space a little bit more and then add some more containers in along the way. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
How about a grouping of boxwoods?
In pots?
No, just to complete the look.
Oh, are you giving me sass?
Yes.
A little sassafras from Erin. Okay, right here, beautiful annual bed. I showed this in the container video this morning too. If you look at it from this angle, like up toward the hydrangeas, it looks awesome. This is the new look Dusty Miller. We started from seed this winter. And we've got Surefire white begonias that replaced some pink pansies that were in here prior. Lemon coral sedum. Love it. We have a little bit of a weird thing going on with our incredible hydrangeas, which might be the beginning of the end. I don't know. See this one right here? We're not sure exactly what's going on with it. The soil's wet. The only thing I can think of, maybe I got too wet right there around it. But they've suffered. They don't look like they're suffering right now, but they have been suffering about every day that the sun's out since we had that honey locust tree removed. That was just enough protection for these in the morning time where they had just a little slice of afternoon sun and then they were protected in the late afternoon from the sun from this maple tree. And these just wilt. They wilt so bad every single day. And so we had to run an extra drip line by them in addition to the other one that was already by them. And we were having to run that every day just to keep them from completely wilting to death. But then our boxwoods on the other side aren't loving all that extra water. So it's kind of like, should we not fight these?
They look really good from the other side, though.
Yeah,
You
maybe
show
we should
what
go that
looks
side.
like.
Yeah. But it's kind of one of those questions. Do you fight? Do you fight with the plant? And do you have to like maybe make the boxwood suffer in addition to trying to fight to keep these alive?
The other side doesn't look that great either.
I don't know. These have just been a little bit, like these have a little bit more green. These have been a little bit more pale. They do look beautiful from this side. But I think what we'll do, and maybe I'll show you when I do it, we'll cut back this hydrangea and see if we can get it to reflush. I just don't know how many years it's going to take for this honey locust tree to provide enough shade for these to, you know, maybe we take them out and put in a paniculata that can just handle more sun. It's, yeah, one of those things. Kitchen bed is looking good though. It's Russell. We've got some rock and deep purple salvia and a fuchsia that got mixed in there with the purples. But that's fine. It can just do its thing back there. We planted a ginger wine 9-bark and a quickfire hydrangea. There's some stratosphere white gara, pinkerific dahlias, Bordeaux supertunias, and it's just filled in nicely. We have a lemony lace elderberry that's finally not being choked out by anemones. These anemones, they just want to choke everything out. In fact, I should come in here and pull some from around the backside of these annuals so that they don't gobble them up eventually. Okay, let's go down the west side. Shade bed, just doing its thing. I actually need to do some maintenance in both of these. I need to do some perennial cutback and some cleanup in here. I'll walk down here real quick. Everything needs a good shower with the hose too. We've had quite a lot of wind that brings in dust.
I think this has spider mites.
Yeah, the big juniper has spider mites. We've got to get that. I don't know how we're going to spray that. I mean, it's massive. I was talking to my dad about it though, and he said that they'll concentrate toward the bottom. It'd take them forever to get up to the top. So maybe if we get after it right away. But no wonder our boxwoods have struggled with mites and our hydrangeas have struggled with mites over here. But yeah, everything is looking pretty dusty and kind of dirty. It needs to be cut back and remulched. We haven't mulched this area this year.
It's hard too, just because this tree drops so many needles and
yeah, like all
juniper
this.
berries.
It just gives kind of a orangey brown cast to
Yeah.
the area, but I can make it look better with some cleaned up plants too. And then if I just bring the shower or the hose over rather and just give everything a shower and just kind of clean it up a little bit, that's always helpful too. I'll be cleaning up. These are the pink Piketty columbine. I was waiting for the seed pods to mature, so there's one. You get so many seeds from each seed pod. I just wanted to fill in this area. But I'll pick all of these and save all of the seed from these. Okay, I want to go back down the west side this way. Sorry if it seems like we bounce around a lot. We never know what the best path is. We talk about it at the beginning of every tour video, like which direction should we go, and we end up kind of bouncing around. Sweet Romance lavender, this hedge is 7 years old, and we've also got a gara that has seeded itself in there from a previous planting. I can't remember what the name of these hibiscus are, but not super impressed with these containers at all. I'm like this close to wanting to pull them a little bit. This is my first experience with hibiscus. I don't know that hibiscus and superbells are a really good pair because I think hibiscus needs more water than superbells does. So we give the hibiscus enough water and then it makes the superbells pale out in their leaves. So
They only get about, they get around 10 minutes of water per day.
well, that shouldn't be too much.
No, I wouldn't think so.
I don't know, but we'll see. I mean, we haven't had like weeks and weeks of consistent heat yet, so that could be contributing. See what happens. Raised beds are going well. I just planted some zinnias in here the other day and they're already popping through. We've got carrots and peppers, tomatoes, peas still. We've got some quartet rainbow stock and lysianthus, bachelor's buttons that I love. I think once these are all done blooming, I will pull the ones from the pathway. We'll leave all the ones in the bed, but I'll pull these. I just kind of let them do their thing because I love it and I think they're beautiful. We've got some blue wheat we just seeded maybe about a week ago, so up about 4 inches or so. Garlic, peas need to come out at this point. And then the west side, I've done a little bit of cut back in here. We've cut back Nepeta. I've done a bunch of deadheading, but still a bunch of deadheading needs to happen. These are the Royal Jubilee David Austins right here. There's one that's pretty. The rest need to be cleaned up a bit. Just a lot to do this time of year, and we've been really like the watering and making sure that we keep everything like dripped in. And as I get so many things planted, that's a full-time job, you know, making sure everything's staying alive in the way of that. So the deadheading maintenance comes second to that sort of stuff. We've got some, they're not pink potion. Are they pink potion?
It kind of looks like it.
Veronica, is that the right name? I don't know if that's the right name, but they just started to bloom, looking really pretty. I need to cut back ladies' mantle still, but we got our salvia cut back in here. Iris is pretty much deadheaded. I could clean up some hardy geraniums, but this is a time of year too where I can look and see what colors I have and what colors I need. Like I've got some space back in here where I can plant some things. I've got some space up front where I could tuck some new things as well. We're just like, I don't know, we're kind of past that first glorious flush of summer. And now we're gonna kind of go into the dog days a little bit where we need to refine and clean up and deadhead, and then it'll flush back into really pretty bloom. Right back over here, we've got some Daisy May. Daisies right here. These have been here since the Moon Garden days.
Yeah.
And they've been great. They're so pretty. I mean, that looks fake, doesn't it?
It really does.
They're just a really phenomenal perennial. White Wands Veronica has been in bloom for quite a long time, but the pollinators love this plant more than about anything else in our garden. It's amazing. We should pop right over here real quick and then head through the south garden, do you think?
Sure.
Okay. So we're kind of on the east side of the house. I wanted to show you a few things over here before we head out to the other part of the garden. We planted this shade garden up maybe like 3 years ago. Maybe 2 years ago. I haven't added a lot to it, but I've been really happy with how things are doing. The hostas look really good. These were so spindly when I planted them, and I honestly can't even remember the name of. This is an oak leaf hydrangea, but look at the blooms close up here, and you should show these. The bloom panicles, first of all, are massive. They're huge. And I want to say it's like snowflake or snowstorm or something like that. But I've been really happy with how they look, and the heucherellas look great. Right in this area, we've got some beautiful hostas. Erin, can you help me remember what the name of this is? Why can't
Love Story?
Is it Love Story or
or
Miss America?
It might be Miss America. I don't know, one of the two. We'll put it on the screen.
Just beautiful, especially from this angle. If you look in here, you can see the Japanese maple, that's a red dragon, and then the hostas, more oak leaf. Those are Gatsby pink oak leaf hydrangeas, which are doing great. This container, which I talked about in this morning's container video, I love it. It's such a striking look. And then in the Persephone garden, we've got the Surefire rose begonias, which are doing great. You can see a little bit more of the oak leaf, which I think those could use some iron as well, Erin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But the phlox are just starting to bloom. We've got the opalescence phlox in here, and then we've got the ultraviolet to the left.
It looks so cleaned up not to have those boxwoods behind.
I know, we'll take a look from the other side, but I did want to show off your grass real quick because the grass has been a game changer over here. It looks so good. And you seem to be pretty happy with it,
Oh, yeah,
right? Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
it's so pretty. I mean, it's got the initial weeds and stuff that any new area that you've worked up. I mean, I'm noticing a big crop of weeds in that east barn flower bed because it's a newly worked up area.
Yep.
We've tilled it. And so anytime you have an area like that, it just kind of brings up weed seeds to the surface. And so you deal with that, but this isn't nearly as bad. It's like our front lawn. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the weeds that came up in that area, they were insane. This looks amazing. And the bricks look great. The maples look great. You can see through to my pumpkins out there. Erin got the tractor out and mowed all the weeds down. We've got sunflowers real close and corn and potatoes and some other random artichokes and random flowers out there. It's just a fun spot. And then this is the flower bed that we just worked on. A couple days ago, we got it done. Pulled out that weird wing of boxwood and mulched the area, cleaned it up, fixed some drip issues. I staked up some trees. Yeah, it makes me so excited to see this. And I think next week we're gonna go shopping for a couple evergreens. I want to plant one specifically right up here, right here, so that it hides all this hose link flim flam. Although we could put this lower, couldn't we? We could take this off the top of this
Yeah.
and put a little, so at least we could lower it by like this much.
It probably won't matter, though, once you start planting things. It'll just disappear.
You're probably right. You know, there's one advantage to having them taller, and it's usually easier to pull the hose out because they usually end up with stuff all the way around them. So if it's higher, it's just less likely to rake on top of plants that are around them. So maybe we keep it and we plant some kind of evergreen so that, especially from the lane view, you don't see all of this. I would like that, I think. Let's go all the way over there. This flower bed is gorgeous. I love it. This is something that I would repeat again. The Suncredible sunflowers, rock and blue suede shoes, salvia, and Super Tuna Vista bubblegum. It's a super simple pairing, but I think it's really striking and effective, and those bright colors look very good together to me. I really like it. We are going to do brick border here one day. You want me to do it, Aaron?
How many years have you said that?
Well, do you want me to go ahead and do it? Just like on the east side of the barn?
No.
I'm capable.
Yeah, you
for
are.
sure. Okay, South Garden. We're gonna kind of probably zoom through here because I'm sure this is a super long tour. And we have done some cutback out here, some deadheading, but there's still a lot that needs to be done. So let's just focus on this side first. Things are looking great. The echinacea are starting to bloom. Nepeta right here needs to be cut back, but there's still a little bit of color, so I'm never in a huge hurry to do it. Some years I just skip it altogether.
Most years? Wait. Every year?
I don't know if I like his attitude today. Ginger wine 9 bark. I'm saving this spot because I would like to have some kind of something right here. Because honestly, well, if I moved this grass, maybe if I moved this grass here, there's a vista from the walkway across the grass pathway to about right here. Well, the grass is kind of the vista. But if I did some kind of small fountain or statue or pot that kind of...
When are you ever facing that way?
When you walk out from that walkway.
But you never walk the other, you always walk into it.
No.
You never come out, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know. Either way, I was kind of saving this space because I thought something more hardscape-esque would look good out here. But we've got some real pretty Veronica starting to bloom. Look at this. Oh, this is a weed. This is not a plant that I want in here. Shame. Okay. Oh, and this one too. My goodness. See, if you just wait long enough, you can spot them real easy. And then they're easier to pull than when they're little itty bitty ones. Hardy geraniums in here. We've got this Procumbens blue spruce has done really well. I'm really happy with this one. It's supposed to grow like 10 feet wide. So I'm hoping it does. I'm hoping it kind of grows out at the base of these Rise Up Amber Nest roses, which I love. And we've got more Nepeta that needs to be cut back, Artemisia that needs to be cut back. There's not a tremendous amount over here. We did plant some annuals recently, but they look pretty much the same.
The hydrangeas are actually looking a lot better.
They are.
Than they did.
Yeah, these are the Invincible rubies, and it was really the first 3 we planted that were struggling so much with a iron deficiency. And you guys must be on it with the chelated iron because,
Well, for these anyway.
Yeah, they are looking so much better. So much better. This grass I thought had died, but it didn't. It's here. It looks really pretty. It's a type of miscanthus. We've also got some delphiniums that we transplanted from the cut flower garden to this area this spring, and look at them. They don't seem to have minded the transplant. We've got a Durvella Kodiak Fresh, which is supposed to be this bright color, but I do think it would benefit from a little bit of protection in the afternoon because it does want to burn a little bit. A little bit of burn on its leaves, but
Do we need a big tree over here?
well, you remember I had you out here the other day because I was going to plant a crabapple right here.
We need a bigger tree.
That's what we decided.
Yeah.
That it needs to be more of a shade tree sort of situation, which means this pine is going to have to move, which means I can't flank the walkway with another one of those skinny spruces, which is fine. But we do need vertical and more shade right here for sure. I've got some of the James Britannia I had left over, and we popped it right here to see how it would do in the landscape. And then on the other side of the walkway, we've got a bunch of bubblegum, which I love. I think it's really pretty right here. And I did this right here as an annual bed because I wasn't sure how we were going to direct the stone pathway that's coming out over here. But after having this like this, I wonder if we just bring that stone pathway right in front of these pots, Aaron, and straight out and over.
Yeah.
I mean, that way you get access to all the berries and it won't come out like at some random spot and then how do you get to this bed,
Yeah.
you know? So maybe this bed is perfectly fine. And we take this, which I've got some blackberry starts right here, but we take this and just, you know, maybe like right here, we take up these stones and then kind of redirect it a little bit more straight and come straight toward you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, looks good.
Then we won't have to move anything. We won't have to move any of the the rhubarb, nothing. And we could leave the pots here, which I love these pots being here. Our berries are doing great. Take a look at this. Loaded. Absolutely and completely loaded. We've even got some dark ones on here, but they're not quite. Ooh, that one might be ready. It's not coming off the. Usually they'll release really easy when they're ready and not tart.
All these.
Yeah, my gosh. Not quite. Oh, come on. Oh, that one might be ready. Oh, I thought I saw something crawling on it. Nope. Not tart. That was good. First blackberry of the year. You want to eat it? No? That one's better. Oh. White Niagara grapes are doing fantastic. Look at this. Just absolutely loaded. Look up in here. We're going to have some good juice this year. Our table grapes are a little bit further behind, but still, look at this. I think we'll be set on the grape front. And I think we're going to be set on the raspberry front too. These are the Heritage Red Everbearing Raspberry. And they're already forming up fruit, even though I mowed them all the way down. And then these are the Fall Golds right here, which I'm noticing there are some fruit forming up. These are always a little bit lagging behind the red ones. But they all look very healthy, and I think they've had the proper food this year. I've actually fertilized them twice this year already. Usually they get it once a year, maybe. Okay, we got to keep going down this row before we head to the formal flower garden. Stokes asters are looking so much better this year. They struggled all of last year after we planted them. I was really kind of not confident in the plant at all. They look great. Opalescence Fox was a new one planted last year as well. We've got some Amsonia. There's a Firelight Hydrangea.
Should this be not as bright?
I don't think so. I think it needs iron.
Okay.
We've got some Phlomis right here. There's some Supreme Cantaloupe Echinacea. I don't like most double Echinacea, but I like this one. I think these are really pretty. I just don't think double Echinacea are as pretty when they're spent. The other ones, like the Echinacea purpurea, like the classic coneflower or white swan, something like that, they have more of a clean seed head and they look prettier, I think, through the winter. Let's see. Should we go down this way? There's some really beautiful things in here. Yellow twig dogwood. This is a Blue Chip Junior Buddleia. More Nepeta. We've got some white Echinacea. This is Heliopsis Tuscan Sun right here. Some Russian sage that's just starting to possibly open up. Got some buds, some blooms open. Ooh, here comes the breeze. Now we just recently planted up a bunch of annuals in here and I am excited to have this all mulched. That'll make it look really pretty. The container with our 2026, do you remember the name of this recipe?
You know I don't. We'll put it on the screen.
I showed this container in this morning's walkabout, but
Looks good.
it does look good. I couldn't remember the name at that point either. So coming down through this area, it's starting to fill in. We've got some Retro Echinops, I think is what it's called. Anyway, we started them from seed. Totem Pole, Panicum's in there. There's Quickfire Hydrangea, a new Supertunia for next year. Supertunia something, kind of an orchid pink color. Oh, Bethany just came through here. This morning I was through here and saw that these needed to be deadheaded, so she just came through and did it. Oh, I love it. So Flavorette Honey Apricot roses, highly recommend this rose. So these are kind of on their way out, but look at how many roses per stem. I did a reel where I showed 3 stems cut from this plant and how beautiful of a bouquet it made just with 3 stems. They're backed by the Agastaki, Anise hyssop. And then in this space here, we've got some foxglove we started from seed, which are looking better. I need to get in there, groom off some yellow leaves, but we've got room for something. I think I would like something purple blooming in here. These are the El Nino Catalpas right here. These are the ones that I always think are dead, and they're not. We just have to cut them way back. We've got some beautiful hollyhocks just in bloom. And then we've got a lot to do in this area, and I think this tree is dead. I think it's dead.
We lose a lot of trees around here.
We do. This area is really hard. I mean, like literally, the ground is so hard in this area. So Paul came out here. This is an Indian magic crabapple, and this is like the one in your parents' backyard, or their old backyard, I guess at this point. And I love the tree so much, and I would like to have that variety back here still. But Paul came in here and did some investigating because I thought, well, is the drip plugged? Like, what's going on? And none of us really noticed it till it was a little bit far gone. And so he came in and kind of widened the drip out. He said the soil was wet, like it was not wet, it was moist. So it was getting moisture. So I don't know, like how long do you leave something like this?
I don't know. I mean, at this point, I think you pull it.
Well, I was looking at the branches and I do think it's like, you can tell, you can see the desiccation. Mm-hmm. It's starting to pucker and wrinkle. And usually when you see that, like...
Did we plant it too deep?
No, I don't think so, because I can see the flare. I can see it right here.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know, weird sometimes. Okay, and we're gonna kind of shoot out from the back behind the area we were just in. We did plant some currants this spring and they're doing great. And then we've got the formal flower garden. Oh, the fountain's not on.
Yeah, I unplugged it last night because we got a lot of wind.
That's true. Well, all the quadrants look the same, so I'll just show you one. I am loving this mix. And I wonder if there's a way we can keep the annuals this size. I don't think it's possible, because I think if I came in and like cut it back, you would lose blooms for a while, but I think it would just want to explode again. This is perfect. Plain the blue salvia, Super Tunia mini vista plum veined. It's such a beautiful combination. I would love this in a pot. Like the salvia as a centerpiece with that Super Tunia around it. So pleasing to look at. We just recently planted the Sweet Romance lavender. So you can see like right here, there's a few areas where, I don't know, I could cut them back and see what happens. But I think what my plan is going to be is to come along and replace anything that looks like this with the new ones I just showed you back by the high tunnels. I think I'm gonna pop these in some soil though, in the back, and just give them some time and they'll probably come back. A few of them looked a little sketch when I planted them, and I did it anyway, put them in anyway because it's a place marker. I had all the measuring equipment out that day and I didn't want to have to bring it back out. So I thought as long as there's something there, I'll know exactly where to plant a new one if I need to. So that quadrant in the back corner is doing the worst in terms of lavender loss. But I think it's going to be a glorious look once they've all filled in and have done their thing. They're so, so pretty. The lindens are doing great as well. We should go look at the strawberries. Aren't these awesome, these strawberry beds? They've kind of gone through a little bit of a lull. Like we had a huge crop. Well, for first year plants, a huge crop. And now they've sent up a bunch more stems with blooms. We might find a few red ones in here. Here's one that's starting to get a little bit more red. But we've got these two beds are seascapes, which are an everbearing. And then these three are everbearing as well. And then the other three beds are June bearing. So those are done for the season. So we're really only going to be harvesting from 5 of the beds, 5 of the 8 throughout the whole season. Here's one. So pretty. We've harvested some big ones out of here too this year already. I've actually been out here twice when the drip turned on. Like I was planting the lavender at one of the times, and then I was planting a corner, some Stardiva scavola over there when the drip turned on, and this bed right here keeps popping a drip tape.
Oh.
Right here. And I get it on as tight as I can, and I keep forgetting to tell anybody. Anyway, it just shoots water like into the other bed. So like it's just watering something else down the way, but anyway, we'll see what happens. Everything else has been solid. Oh, so fun. We do have a Bathsheba climbing rose right here. I love this right here. We dug this up from the north garden before the pond was installed and moved it out here. It's doing great. Our bagged apples are doing wonderfully. Now, I wonder if you can, there's a robin's nest in here. And I was able to put my phone over the nest to get a picture of 4 little blue eggs. And then the other day I got a picture of the little babies in there. The kids are just in love. I wonder if you could get up there high enough, Aaron. I don't think the mama's in there right now. I don't see her. I think I hear her. Yeah. You see anything? Oh, I guess you can't see.
No, I can't.
Yeah, hopefully that's pointed at him. I think we're upsetting her though. I can see her. She's up in that locust tree looking at us, and it looks like she has a worm in her mouth. Let's get out of here. She has to know by this time that we mean no harm. The kids want to check on that all the time, and I won't let them but about once a day. So we'll take a look at these apples right here. I've been checking them because I think I got to the bagging a little bit late. I read up and I think they recommend you bag the apples when they're about 1/2 to 3/4 inch in size, and they were a little bit bigger when I bagged them. So I've had to take a couple of bags off where I've noticed some worm damage, but not very many. So I think we got after it early enough on most of these, because what those moths do is they lay the eggs like on the stem area, somewhere right around in there. Then the eggs hatch and then they crawl down into the apple and use the apple as their source of food. So if you can get to it soon enough before they lay those eggs, then we're good to go. I was thinking I could maybe find one that had some worm damage. But I've been pretty diligent about checking all of these. Oh no, here's one. Okay, so this is one I bagged. So there was eggs on that one already. So we just get rid of that. But most of these look pretty darn clean. It's a really fun experiment. Okay, let's cruise through the loop here. The annuals are looking great. Look at this, Super Bean Violet Ice, Carolee Petite Pink Gara. I did plant some Agastaki in here. We haven't mulched this area yet, but boy, when we get to that, that's gonna look so sharp.
You know, the roses, I know you planted those as bare root.
Yeah.
And they just haven't, they look pretty, like the blooms look great.
Yeah.
But they just haven't really bulked up yet.
This area, I had to almost lay on the auger to get it to dig a hole this big for the hyssop.
Maybe we need to throw a bunch of extra gypsum on here.
I think this spot, I remember too when I was planting, before I started planting annuals or anything like that, like the soil here closer to the grass is softer because it gets more moisture. But the stuff inside, when I was planting bulbs early on before there was stuff in here, it was so incredibly hard to dig those holes. Yeah, so the roses, I mean, they're doing it, but they're not like thriving at max capacity. But everything else looks pretty good. The Eryngium that we transplanted looks great. We eventually turned this fountain off. I need to work some fountain details out or just get new fountains.
We need the aquascape basins underneath.
Probably so, yeah. Yep. Vanessa Bell roses right here. They're just this beautiful soft yellow. And I love them with the Fama blue pincushion flowers and the Russian sage. We've got some Kufia mixed in here with some sedum. Miss Violet Buddleias right here. And Bethany looks really great right now. State of Grace rose. I do have a few more, one in a melon, echinacea. I've got 3 more, they're in the high tunnel, that I'm gonna work into this space here because I think that melon color with this kind of purpley pink and the State of Grace, it all just looks real pretty together. I haven't planted that urn just because I just don't think I want to. I think I'm just gonna use it as a piece of pretty statuary this year. Yeah, it's garden art. The Calycanthus, this is an Aphrodite, looking absolutely beautiful. Watch out, there's a string right there. They smell really good. Can you smell them right now, Aaron?
Yeah.
And I love the leaf. This is one that I did not think would survive our garden. So I planted it really close to the black lace because I thought it's gonna stay really small. It's probably gonna die, and it's thriving. Should have given it more space. Okay, we have some daylilies down in here that are just fixing to bloom. Hollyhocks and Agastaki. The mock orange, we're not sure what happened to it. I'm gonna come in, I think, and I don't know if I'm gonna cut it back, maybe rejuvenate, prune it, but it was so gorgeous when we planted it. Do you remember that? It was like the perfect location for this one. Paul ran drip to it immediately, and then we were watering it on the off day that the drip doesn't run. So it's just another one of those situations where like we've done what we can. There's not really anything else we can do about it. So hopefully it will bounce back from that. The Bordeaux Supertunias are looking fantastic out here. And then I'm even seeing a little bit of activity on our Limelight Primes right here. A little bit, they're all budded up, but some are a little bit further ahead. And then it's amazing that those little black lace elderberries in those cans back by the high tunnel turn into that. It's nuts.
Quickly.
Very quickly.
Like 1 or 2 seasons.
Yep. They really like it here. I planted another one right back in there because I kind of want that same look in this area. Kind of coming up on a real pretty spot. I want to say this is like Johnson's Blue or Roseanne geranium. And then we've got the Senorita roses in here. And it's a really pretty kind of orange and blue opposite on the color wheel sort of look. And our larch that we planted last year that we thought had died is doing great. We planted it when it was really hot and it's clearly in full sun when the sun is out, and it just fried. But I'm glad we left it.
I'm amazed this year actually how many things looked really horrible last fall or even this spring.
Yeah.
Like a lot of our spruces
Yeah.
looked like they were on death's door.
Right.
And then they just came back.
Yep.
And they look great now.
Yep. Fama, pincushion flowers all started from seed. The swallowtail butterflies absolutely adore this plant. I'm surprised they're actually not out. Maybe it's the weather today, but
Maybe too windy.
it could be, I don't know. But I love this plant so much. And they're in bloom like this all season. You don't have to deadhead them. This is what they look like when they're done blooming. It's actually a really pretty texture to add into a cut flower arrangement. Beautiful. We've got daylilies about ready to bloom. These are like a smoky mauve and dark burgundy, so they kind of look real pretty with this forest pansy red bud. Agastache looking great. Oh, and look at this Chitalpa. I think this is the one we had to cut all the way to the ground. And it's shot up all of this in one season.
We just keep stopping at every single Chitalpa.
Just because they're awesome. Now, this one I noticed is a little weak. And maybe that's because it had to be all the way down. Like the wind has kind of taken out a couple branches. And like that one would have eventually wilted all the way and died because it was disconnected enough from the main stem. But I just find their growth just so kind of spectacular that they can do that. Invincible ruby hydrangeas from our, I mean, they're not looking awesome, but there's blooms. They were from our containers up in the Versailles Persephone garden area, repurposed. We've got rue that looked gorgeous. We need to cut that back. We've already cut this salvia back and it's coming along for its second bloom. The all dressed up roses look great. Drops of Jupiter, oregano. Oh, there's a swallowtail right there. Baptisia. These are huge.
Monstrous.
I planted, I think, 4 in this spot. Are you getting eaten up?
Yeah.
I'm getting eaten up too. Serendipity alliums. We've got some of the Pope John Paul II roses from behind our fireplace. We dug these up and moved them out here. They're fantastic. They have a really good fragrance. And then this is Bit of Honey Heliopsis. And then some things that need to like, come on. I think this Super Tunia is done. Yep.
It is now.
Done now. Yep. Those are the Raspberry Rush, I think, Super Tunia. See, this is the White Swan Echinacea. I think if I had to rate Echinacea varieties, Echinacea purpurea would be my favorite, and then the White Swan would be my second favorite. They're easy to grow, and they look pretty all the time. And then we've got kind of this new area. We got this popcorn viburnum. It's looking, see, this is what our larch did. Sometimes you just have to live with it for a year, which is kind of a bummer when it's along your main driveway. And like I've driven by it several times and thought, I'm just gonna like put something else there because I can't look at it for this year. But if we just hang on, it will be okay and it'll be fine next year. But we've got a beautiful blend of plants here. The new, were they the Powerball hydrangeas, I think is what they were called. They're a paniculata. And then we've got the Pickety Pink Gara, which looks so good. It was so like spindly when I planted it. Looks so good. Plain the blue salvia and then the sparkling amethyst Superbena kind of around the exterior edge. And we planted these birch trees this spring too. So all of this stuff is new in this section. And then these right here are the Heartstrings Coreopsis, which is a new one.
This is an annual or perennial?
That's perennial.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think I need to put something white next to it because then we'll graduate into our pinks and that's got a little bit more red in it. All right, so let's go around this section. Now this is the geranium I was recently talking about. So I dug these up and transplanted them from the north garden where the pond now is. They were in a location like on the back side of, on the north side of a fence and also like surrounded by other things that were shading them. So they were about this tall. They were growing and that's where they'd max out. They were real pretty. And I thought, well, they'd be perfect for the edge of the border out here. So I dug them up and moved them out. Like they look like this one right here all the time. Apparently, when this one gets sun all day long, this is what it does. And so it turns into an absolute shrub right at the edge of the border, so it looks improperly placed. I'm gonna have to move these. They're real pretty, but I'm gonna have to move them. Because at first they were a really great blend with our Veronica right in here, and now they're just kind of overtaking. We've got some pufferfish hydrangeas throughout here, which this is their best year yet. When I planted them, it was super late in the season and they were all burned and looked kind of bad.
Look at the growth on the pine.
Yeah, it's so crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, the pines love it out here.
They really do. We've got some agastache and some annuals. A lemon squeeze, nope. That's a Desert Plains Pennisetum right there. And then look at our smoke bush that we did a rejuvenation prune to.
Looks so much better.
I know, I just think I'll just do that every year. Like no matter what.
Yeah.
I'll just cut it down to the ground and let it be a smaller shrub. We've got some echinacea in here, a mixture of pink and white swan, and then some more geraniums. And I'm happy with how this spruce is looking. I think this is like a moonstone or something like that. And it was kind of starting to, you know how they get that kind of purple cast and then they start dropping needles? It was doing that, especially on this side, even before we planted it. And I got it in the ground and it kind of like went a little further down that path and then it stopped and it's looking really good and it had some really good new growth on it this spring, looking very icy blue and gorgeous.
If the camera is shaking, it's because I'm trying to dodge mosquitoes over
Yeah,
here.
the mosquitoes in just this area are the worst on our
That's weird.
entire property. Well, we were out on the gator, was it last night, and I had four mosquitoes. I looked down and there's 4 on my ankle. We've got some echinacea in here that look really pretty. I can't remember the variety name, but look at those. They're so unique looking. I think I got those down at my parents' garden center. They look really pretty with the pink geranium, which I do think could use some iron as well. Midnight Masquerade Penstemon was just in full peak bloom like a couple days ago. And so we're gonna get close to a
Still
shear
looks
back.
pretty good even when it goes out of bloom.
You know, it really does. And
It's got an
it's
interesting look.
especially once it's lost all of its spent blooms, the seed heads that are left behind look really pretty in flower arrangements and they look really pretty in the flower bed. So sometimes we don't even shear them back.
What are you gonna do right here?
Some kind of structure. And flower beds and then maybe like the pondless waterfall or something out here. But I gotta land on a structure that I like. That's hard. I did find one that I liked. Do you remember the price tag on it?
Oh yeah, what was it, like 50,000 or
Yeah,
something stupid?
I found a metal gazebo. I thought that is beautiful. I would love that. So I looked it up and I expected like 10 or 12,000, you know, which that's steep. $56,000. No, I can't put that in. Okay, our forest pansy's looking pretty good.
What about just putting another Hartley back here?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, why not, Erin?
Yeah.
We've got more echinacea. The Niagara Falls panicum are awesome. Look at those. And they get 4 feet by 4 feet. When they send up their bloom stalks, I mean, they'll get this big this season. They're just so bold and so beautiful in their color. I just love it. They're so pretty. We've got some real nice, this is Yellow Brick Road sedum right here. Some salvia that's been cut back. Right around here, we just planted some paired roses, so they're on the small side. We've got agastaki, we've got some reminiscent coral roses around here, which need to be deadheaded, but you get a sense of how they grow here, and you can see a more fresh looking one right here. Get rid of that in the middle. Here we go. It's a really pretty one. I need to shear up our lollipop. These are like a triple decker juniper right here. It's kind of turning into
A
upright.
single decker?
Yeah. White Wands Veronica, more echinacea, keeping that space empty. But we have planted like the mock orange and we've got a Centaura double blue lilac going. This is a Rivers Purple Beach, that another one we thought had died, remember,
Yeah.
last year?
Yeah.
And it came back beautifully.
The one in the Dirtlands came back too.
It did.
That was looking like
I
was
guess.
dead.
Yeah. This is a new annual sort of experiment area.
This looks great.
Do you like this?
Yeah, I like that a lot.
So this is a Delta called, I think, Silver River. Double grapefruit super bells. This is a Sunglow Calliophis or something. And then there's the Agastaki Maestro Coral. Anyway, they're all supposed to be drought tolerant things. So we did not hook this one up onto drip. We were just kind of finger testing it and giving it a little bit of water here and there. So far, so good. And then I planted the rest of them that I had out here in the landscape so we could kind of compare results. So we've got the Sunglow here and then the Maestro Coral right here. These echinacea have got to go. I knew the only one that was blooming when we were out here planting was this. And I thought, well, that's not going to be bad. That'll be perfect.
I kind of like them.
Do you?
Yeah.
They
It's
are
bright.
so
It's vibrant.
jarring. Like, I mean, I'm doing red, right, in the parterre, but this is like a little too in your face.
Too much for you?
A little bit. It's a little too hot colored, hot toned. And then we get into a little bit more thickness in plantings right here. We've got some Super Tunia Vista Paradise right here. Not my favorite color. honestly.
Yeah, I can tell.
It's like-
it's a hot.
It's jarring. It's another
Yeah.
jarring color. And I thought, well, we'll just try it here because we've got a purple clematis. But it's kind of fun to try. I mean, you stumble upon something you might love, you know?
It performs well. I mean, if that's your color,
Yeah.
it's a good performing plant.
Yeah, for sure. We've got echinacea just kind of like willy-nilly through this whole area. I did not plant this one here. It just came up here. Same with this patch. This is a penstemon we started from seed. It's like Twizzle something, Twizzle apricot, or is that right? I don't know. We've got Rudbeckia that Proven Winners used to carry an annual Rudbeckia for fall plantings. And I had some, they sent me some. I thought they were annual. And so I popped them out here as just an annual accent. I had wintered them over in the high tunnel and they did great. And then they've turned out to be perennial. So perennial to the point where I didn't plant this one. Or like this whole patch. I
Did it
didn't
just
plant.
come back as like the original mother plant, or?
Oh, I have no idea, but they look like they did in the container. So
Oh.
it looks true to what I planted. I planted them back behind the geranium. So these right here came up on their own.
Huh.
Which you gotta love that. I'm gonna root this Boom Chocolata geranium out. It emerges out of the ground with powdery mildew. And we just don't deal with powdery mildew here on most things, but we do on the Boom Chocolatas and the Zephrines around the chicken coop. 2 plants that we deal with it on. And then this area is a work in progress. A lot of it is a work in progress. Just planted some Teucrium and the marshmallow daisies. Again, when we mulch, it will make everything look a lot better too. The Fama Blue pincushion flowers. We've got this one container. I put the Luscious Berry Blend Lantana along with Supertunia Saffron Finch and the Tiara Blue. They're looking good. And then the Eryngium. Have I been calling it Echinops this whole time? This is Eryngium, that's Eryngium over there. The Echinops are the ones closest to the parking area. Anyway, they look good. Here's some of your yarrow, Erin.
Yeah, it looks great.
It does, doesn't it? Now, this area, I just talked about it, and I think the video that went out maybe it's going out tomorrow, maybe it went out today. I would like to, where there's a pathway right in front of me, I think I'd like to start another pathway.
Oh yeah, it's a great idea.
Right here. Have an arbor, so we've got some vertical interest right here. And I'd only need to remove 1 rose, 1 Russian sage, and this calycanthus and just scoot them over. And then have a walkway come right through here and just like pull you through this flower bed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it makes the fact that we've kept this so open in here make sense.
Yeah.
A little bit more. And it gives more, I don't know, I think having walking paths everywhere is a fun idea. Okay, one more spot to look at before we're done. It's just the area right along our driveway here. We have several pockets of annuals that are really pretty. I got a hold of extra 16-inch hanging baskets of the 2026 National Recipe of the Year. So I popped them in the ground right here, thinking it would just be fun to try them out, see what they do. And it was instant beauty. I love it. I love the little like boop, boop, boop kind of look out here. We planted some Sergeant Pepper dogwoods early this season. Like it was one of our first planting projects out here. They're doing really well. We came along, I don't think I filmed this. I think I planted these in an evening where it was really hot. I remember it being really hot. Tiara Blue Supertunias, Suncredible Sunflowers. I just used up all the rest of them that we had at that moment in this area. And then you gotta just avert your eyes for a moment. We have Stokes asters trying to root in. Don't put those in a focal area unless you're okay with waiting at least 1 season for them to look okay. Super Bean Whiteout. And then this is a Winecraft Black. No, that's a Summer Wine Black 9 bark right there. And then these were more hanging baskets that we popped in the ground. They look awesome. This was one of the recipes from this year, right?
Yeah.
Vista
2025
Bubblegum,
recipe.
Vista Jazzberry, Vista Mini White, I think. And then we've got some more Echinacea purpurea. I've been working on this patch to thicken it up and expand it. We've got, see, this is the Siberian iris. This is what it looks like out in the landscape.
Looks really nice when it's not in bloom.
It looks like you're almost near a pond,
Yeah.
which gives you like that kind of illusion of like lush and water, which I need. That's why I ordered more to plant out here. And then the last little spot right here, I think I'm gonna take after this today. I need to deadhead these are Dayglow yellow dahlias, and they're easy. I mean, you just have to come along and pop the old blooms off. Makes them look so much better. Like, look at that. Easy. Mini Vista Whites. And then this is one of the 2026 national recipes. This is the Saffron Sunrise. I do remember that name. The one by our grapevines looks a little bit better than this one.
The Saffron Finch is kind of
Well, it's
like
the Super Bells.
taken over.
The Super Bells and the other one looks a lot better. This one's looking like it's gotten too much water or
Oh.
it needs iron. One of the two.
Maybe both.
I don't know. Oh, one more thing. This is progress. We have bricks. So they are going to start this project, our brick pillars, next Monday. I am so looking forward to seeing just, you know, this area be kind of done. Also, we had all the sod removed. I don't think that was gone the last time we showed it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason for that is because we have such hard water that if the sprinklers were to spray on the columns, they would turn white.
Which they would. Like over here, if there was grass around it.
So you'd have a white column on this side, and then you'd have a normal column on this side because there's no sprinklers. And not having grass, it allows you to mirror the look.
Yeah, and I won't be able to mirror it exactly, but like this spot, if you go beyond the gate, is mulch. It's a flower bed area, and now this spot, which mirrors it in shape, will be mulch and flower bed area. And then we'll probably figure out something that's similar up here. The only spot that won't be exact, because you know we've got a service lane on the other side, is right about here. Like this line right here, everything on this side of it will be different than that side, but I was just thinking we could use this for like a really striking annual display. I don't know, lots of different thoughts and ideas on that, but having the grass gone from here just simplifies a lot of things. So anyway, that's it, you guys. That is it for our mid to late, I don't even know what day it is today. I need to look, but mid to late June garden tour. Things are doing pretty well, but you can see the maintenance stuff that we still need to tackle, and we'll be working on that over the next, well, forever. It's just a revolving kind of project door, I guess. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.